the days that, if I get cut off driving on the highway and I get angry, I'm like, they didn't make me angry. I gave them the power to make me angry. And like the days that I am tempted by sin, if I were to give in to temptation, the devil didn't make me sin. I gave that temptation the power over me. And I'm not going to let the devil have power over me. He does not get to have free real estate in my brain. He does not get to have free real estate on my soul, because Christ has paid that price for me, and he's paid that price for you. And I love what you said. Life began for you when you were all plugged up on the table. Life began for me when I'm weeping inside Waffle House, wanting to take my life and saying, God, if you're real, take this away. Life began for me in that moment and hasn't been the same. And, a lot of people can look at your circumstance, because that is the most scandalous thing about your story, is you have every right to be pissed off. You have every right to, to be upset, to lay around, to do whatever, but you don't. And you're fighting the current. And it makes people go, well, why does he do that? And it's Jesus in you.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now, you're faced with this moment. You've been diagnosed for the 4th time. And supposedly what's on the calendar right now is the doctors say, hey, you can have surgery in about a month-ish. But you're saying, no, I'm believing God.
I'm more expectant of a miracle of God to perfectly dissolve cancer in my body before surgery even happens.
What do the doctors think about that? Because I know they know how you feel. And I know they know what you believe. And just like a side note, like a lot of doctors deliver the news that they've given to you to a lot of people, and you're the 1% that reacts, unlike the 99%. So what do they think that you feel this way and that your faith's in Jesus?
So when I was diagnosed for the 3rd time, they actually gave my case a terminal diagnosis. They said, all of the tools in our toolbox, we've used them all, and so you're done. My doctor looked at me and he's like, I'm so sorry, but my job is to give hard news. That's a part of my job. He's like, why do you look so calm? And I looked at him and I just said, I fear God and not the things of the world. And he sat back in his chair for like 30 seconds, just saying nothing. And he was flustering his words. He was just like, his first thing he said was, whoa. Like he sat back in his swivel chair and was like, whoa. Because I know that when he gives news like that, he's expecting full breakdown. Just tears on tears, family members crying. And he looked at myself and both my parents, who were just so strong in their faith. And we were mean mugging. You should have seen us up there, unfazed. And then 4 months later, when God worked a miracle in my body and dissolved cancer by a snap of his finger, I'm sitting in the exact same chair, the exact same office. And he said, as he's looking at these scans, he's like, this is a miracle. He said, miracle. And that was my experience. And so these docs, they know who I am. They know what I'm about.
Is it the same doctor that you have this time as this last doctor that you said?
It's all the same team, same squad.
Wow.
And they're seeing this all in real time. But there's not a lot of faith in medicine.
Well, they've been taught rational. They've been taught, oh, when this thing happens, you do this. And if this outcome happens, it's not good. That's how they're taught. They're indoctrinated that way. They're like indoctrinated logically. When God moves, it's not always logical. Like when God tells me to do something, it doesn't always just make sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And God's telling you something that does not make sense to them. And this is their 4th time with you. And the Lord ain't backing down. He's not backing down. That's the coolest thing about this, is he's not backing down. And because he lives inside of you and the Spirit of God is manifesting through you, you're not backing down. You have strength through the Spirit of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when you brought up the thorn inside of Paul's flesh, because he's like kind of complaining at the beginning of that passage. He's like, there's this thing that's bothering me and it sucks. And then at the end, he's like, but you know what? I'm grateful for this because it keeps me humble and it keeps me reliant on God. Like without this thorn in my flesh, I would not be humble and reliant on God. And I just, That's your response. Is you're human and saying, man, it hurt to get diagnosed the 4th time. But guess what? You better believe my diet's on point. You better believe my prayer's on point. You better believe my surrender's on point.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you, I told you yesterday on the phone, like I'm going through a fitness transformation. And when I was telling my coach, hey, here's my buddy Dylan, he's coming on tomorrow. He's the 4th time battling cancer. And he goes, how has he beat cancer 3 times? And I said, his surrender to God was on point. His prayer was on point. His diet was on point. And you're in the same mode right now.
It's like, I'm not stronger than cancer, but God is. And that has to be the takeaway. God is stronger than all things. And when we rest in him and he lives through us, then we become stronger.
Mm-hmm. If you want to support what we're doing here on YouTube, the biggest thing you can do is subscribe. That's what helps us push these videos out and reach more people with the message.